Hi everyone, Kim Sturgeon here. I am a student in the last few semesters of the Student Affairs Administration program at UW-La Crosse. I live outside of Holton, Kansas, and I work at Washburn University, which is located in Topeka, Kansas. So I drive about 84 miles a day, 5 days a week, and I also love being outside, being in the country, hence the border on my video. Okay, so I'm a mother of 4 boys, 5 if you want to include my husband, and they range from ages 11 all the way up to 18. I have been at Washburn for almost 15 years. I've worked in the Students with Disabilities and Veterans Office the whole time, and we are just now getting a new position. There's only 2 of us right now, which would add another, and we are actually pretty excited about it. We found out about 4 o'clock this afternoon, so I'm still a little bit giddy on that. But on with the week's readings and assignments. In regards to the listening profile, I completed the listening profile as well as having my supervisor complete the profile on me, and then I compared our ratings, and I must say that I really wasn't that surprised by the findings and compared to how she rated me higher than I rated myself. And that tells me that we as individuals, in fact, are harder on ourselves than we should be. We tend to question ourselves in areas instead of going with our first instinct, which is usually the correct one. In both the ratings, I did notice that it said that I was an excellent listener in that category, and that confirms for me some of the stuff that I know about myself as a professional as well as an individual. That I pay close attention when being spoken to, that I do have a good memory when it comes to recalling information, and that I'm also able to put the pieces of the puzzle together to gain a bigger picture. In regards to the Reynolds text for this week, I do think that the text is still relevant to college campuses and as student affairs professionals today. It's very important as professionals to know what skills or core areas are needed as a professional in this field, and to keep in focus the major goal, which is the well-being of the student as a whole. So on page 7 of the Reynolds book, there's a quote that I really like, and I'm going to pull that up real quick, that I wanted to go ahead and mention to everybody. And that is on page 7. It says, according to C. Gilbert Wren, student affairs professionals need to address the basic psychological needs of all young people and the specific needs that are the direct results of the college experience. These basic helping skills are at the core of daily interactions with students. And I definitely confirm that that is absolutely true. You need to understand the whole psychological or the whole person. You can't just try to assist them in one area and knowing that there's another area that needs some type of, I don't want to say some type of attention, but knowing that there is a situation or something in another area that the student would also need assistance with, which would which would help the student as a whole. It's also important to know about and to obtain the basic skills that a professional across the board in the student affairs profession needs. And again, Reynolds shows information on page 14, which I'm going to pull up here real quick. And it indicates in the book a lot of different skills that are needed, but I think that what was really important was down here about the middle of the page when it says some of the specific helping knowledge and skills needed to work effectively with campus students across the student affairs functional areas includes micro-counseling skills, which would be like active listening, empathy, reflection, nonverbal skills, and paraphrasing. And it's very important to do that, to let the student know that you are listening, that you're paying attention. So what we call that is being present in the situation, to make sure that you have empathy and not sympathy. Um, I wouldn't want someone to just be sympathizing with me. I want someone to empathize with me. Um, Being able to see some of the nonverbal cues that the individual is giving will also help, especially when you're talking back with them, and being able to paraphrase what they are saying so they know that you understand what their problem is, what they're looking as, hopefully what they're looking for help. And if not, then you would be able to assist the student in finding what would best suit them. In my undergraduate work, we always talked about how we are not doing the stuff for the individual, we are assisting them in the solutions. Because as we see it, all individuals have the information. Sometimes we just kind of blocked or we're confused. Some things are a little fuzzy, and talking with somebody else would help open those avenues, or open those paths, if you want to say, to be able to assist in whatever the problem is. So another thing that Reynolds had indicated in the textbook this week was about ethical practice. And ethical practice is very important. And the Reynolds text touched on the basic competence in all 7 areas of effective and ethical practice. And that's on page 10. There's a diagram, which I think is pretty good. So if you want to take a look at that, if you want to see what all I was talking about. I did read some of the optional reading for this week, and dual relationships is something that I wanted to kind of touch on. I wanted to say that it is important to understand and maintain those boundaries when you have dual relationships with students. Like our office, we work with veterans and we work with students with disabilities. So therefore, we have relationship, like example would be, I have a veteran student who was also my friend, and she applied for the VA work study program in my office, which was great at first. But then I had to tell her what the boundaries were. She would start to take advantage of me as a friend, and then take advantage of me as a supervisor. Instead of coming in on time, she would come in late and just, I don't just mean like 5 or 10 minutes late, which I understand if you're stuck in traffic sometimes when there's an accident. But if you come in 45 minutes late because you didn't get up until 8 and you wanted to take a shower, even though you were awake were awake at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning, and just decided you didn't want to get out of bed, and that's a consistent thing that happens, then, yes, there's problems. Thinking that you can talk to me any way you want or not do the work that I request is definitely not something that needs to be within the relationship as a supervisee, as well as a friend, because it did, harm our relationship a little bit. I felt like I was taken advantage of. But anyways, my point is that it is very important to know those boundaries and to maintain them, as well as let the person or persons know what the boundaries are, because sometimes they are unaware or need reminding of it. So anyways, that's what I got for this week. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will be talking with y'all in response to y'all's videos or texts. See you later.